Every Sunday night, I would tell myself the same thing, that tomorrow's the day. It's going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, I stop numbing out, or tomorrow, the anxiety stops running me when I would wake up in the middle of the night and just totally exhausted and overwhelmed with thoughts and fear and worries. Tomorrow, I get my act together. And I meant it every single time. But by Tuesday, sometimes it just wasn't happening. Sometimes by Monday night it wasn't happening. I was right back in the same place, same pattern, same shame, guilt, same version of me I swore I was done being. And the worst part wasn't the relapses, it was the secret, because I was convinced that if I just tried harder alone, I could fix it. I was terrified of looking bad, of feeling dumb, stupid, of the guilt and the shame of someone actually just seeing how broken that I was. So I would just keep it to myself. And it just kept winning. And I'm telling you this because I'm a guy that, A-type personality, super disciplined. I could do things. I was consistent. I had all those things, man. Like I was a focused individual. This wasn't just a guy that was sitting around doing nothing. I knew what it took. I knew what I had to do. And then I would cross over and it just wouldn't happen. I just wouldn't do it. I want to name the trap. I want to go through this series of what was going on for me, what goes on with clients, what goes on with other guys like yourself. That's the reality, man. Like you're coming up against something on your own that you can't really fix. And there's some things that are really simple that you can start today and do. Something that I had to do, something that awakened my soul, something that dropped this baggage off right at the door. Was like, okay, this is what it looks like. I'm going to name the trap and then we'll dig in for a bit. You're not failing because you lack discipline. And that was also one of my strengths is discipline, is consistency. But I was also being disciplined and consistent in the wrong things. There's a dark side to that gift that you have to understand, you have to be aware of, right? The word discipline originates from the word disciple. And you're a learner of that thing that you want to be disciplined to. It starts with this desire of seeking and learning and following and doing the things that you want to do. And when I wasn't doing the things that I wanted to do, I was actually becoming a disciple of those things without me wanting to be. That gift was being used in a negative way, and it was sinking me. It was controlling me. You guys, and even myself included, I was failing because I was trying to fix a relational wound in isolation. The reset cycle, it's not a willpower problem, it's a secrecy problem. And every time you keep it private, you give it more power. I love this line by Brene Brown, and she's got great stuff on shame that I think is really helpful. Really helpful. She says it like this, that shame requires secrecy to survive. The moment you expose it to another human being, its grip immediately weakens. And that's what we're talking about today. That is this grip and this hold. It's really hard to come across that line. It's really hard to be vulnerable. It's really hard to admit that you can't get past this one on your own. And you can't. But I'm also telling you that you can get through it. You're just going to have to take some of those layers off. You're going to have to get out of the secrecy. The Monday reset is just shame on a weekly schedule. That's what's going on. And you're trying to fight your way through it by yourself. And you're not undisciplined, you're unaccountable and you're unwitnessed. That's what's going on. So listen, before we go any further, if this already is hitting you somewhere real, just hit follow right now on Spotify or subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Every single follow puts this show in front of another divorced dad who's been locking the same door for months. 2 clicks, real impact for another dad. Do it now and let's keep going. So let's dig into the locked room idea, because I think this is a good picture for you to understand what's going on. I think you have a few pictures of what it looks like it and what is going on. It's just different when it's yourself, right? It's different when you're analyzing what you need to do and why you're not doing it. So I want you to imagine a room in your house that you've locked, okay? And something is rotting in there. Just imagine you got something rotting in a room locked in your house. You know it's there and you can smell it and it's gross. And there's been times even in my own home, and maybe it's happened, in your place where there's something that was dead and you didn't know where it was, and you can smell it. And it's disgusting and it's gross. And you're like, I don't want to go in there. It's gross. Keep the door shut. You keep locking the door thinking that if you ignore it long enough, it'll fix itself. And every Monday, you tell yourself, this week is the week I'm going to deal with it. This week is the week that it ends. This Monday is when this is gone forever. Then you walk past the door and you lock it again. And the room doesn't fix itself. The rot doesn't stop because you stop looking. It's still there. It still smells. And it's still happening. And there's so many dads that I talk to that they do the same thing. And they avoid it by doing other things. It doesn't mean it's gone. You're just avoiding it. You're avoiding that hard decision. You're avoiding the accountability. You're avoiding that vulnerability. You're avoiding not, trying to not do it on your own. I did a poll recently on Instagram, several hundred guys responding. 96% of the dads were doing this divorce process alone. We're rebuilding alone. So I know I'm talking to you out there. I know that's you. I know that was me. I was trying to do the exact same thing. The only thing that fixes, we'll go back to this room. The only thing that fixes the room is opening the door with someone else standing next to you. That's what accountability actually is. Not a check-in, not an app, a human witness. I've called this in many times, well, in business, you'll call this an audit. Let's audit the processes of what we're doing to see if we're actually going in the right direction, right? Audit your money, audit your processes. I talk with dads about auditing their time, auditing their relationships, auditing what they're actually doing with their kids. Because until you have an audit of these things, until you can break them down, then you can't build in the right way. And that's what we're doing here with this room. We want to audit this. We want to audit this Monday. So I'm going to give you a tool for today. Those of you that haven't jumped in our school group, we have a lot of tools, a lot of frameworks, a lot of systems, a lot of guys that are doing it together. It's not a room. It's not a venting room. It's not a place where we just drop out what's going on. It's a place to get accountable. It's a place to get your stuff out there in the open, because this is going to be what transforms your life. I say it a lot. Accountability is the gateway drug to freedom. So this is what it looks like, right? Here's the tool. It's an exposure framework, simple 3 steps, and it really broke the cycle for me. And it's broken the cycle for hundreds of dads as well. The first thing is you got to name what you're actually hiding. Because I remember there were times I didn't even want to journal some of the things that I was going through because I didn't want somebody to find my journal and look at it and be like, oh, wow, you're dealing with this. You have a problem here. That's how closed off that I was. And that was how chained up and how heavy the weights were for me. So you gotta first name what you're actually hiding, not the symptom, but the root. Is it fear, right? Is it fear of failure? Is it an addiction? Why are you addicted to that? Why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep giving yourself a way out of that? It's not that I keep relapsing. What are you relapsing into, and why are you ashamed of it? Right? Is it because you know that you're a better man? You know that you have greatness inside of you and you're not living out that greatness? You're living a double life, a double standard. You don't want people to know that you're not actually that nice of a guy, that you have problems. And I need you to write it down before you say it out loud. Write it down. Journaling first, it makes the exposure less terrifying. That's why today I still journal. I still get the stuff out and look at it. I tell guys it's like getting the stuff out of your pockets in your pants. There used to be times when you would have more stuff, keys and wallets and things like that. Get it out so you can observe it, you can analyze it, you can expose it, you can attack it, right? Because if you can't do that, then it becomes mental gymnastics and you don't win that game. Ask yourself in your journal, what am I most afraid of? Someone will find out about me right now. What are you most afraid of for somebody to find out? Is it that you're not as good of a human being as people think you are? Is it that you're not as disciplined as people think you are? Is it that you have a low self valuation of you, even though people think you're super confident? What is it? That's what needs to be exposed, because then we get into step 2. Expose it to one human being, not a group, not social media, one person, somebody that you are aligned with, that you know can hold you in there. Guys come to me, and that's part of what coaching is to say, hey, this is something that I'm dealing with. Let's build this out. And we unpack what their enemies are so that we know which way to go each and every day. This person could be a close, trusted friend, but they have to be somebody also that you can call and talk to about it. And I tell you what, there's a lot of friends that we think we have. There's not a lot of friends that are going to answer the phone when we need a call and we need to talk. That's a difference. That's why coaching and mentorship is so important. Because in a world when everybody is full of themselves and distracted with their own things, they don't have time, like people used to just say, hey, man, how are you? What's going on? Secrecy loses its power the moment a witness shows up. That's the fact. When I got in with a coach, because I was trying this for several years with individuals, with friends, I check in, hey, I'm going through this, man. And it was like, okay, cool. That's great. There wasn't a checking in. There wasn't like, hey, where are you at today? Where are you at today? Where are you at this week? How's this going? There's not a movement. There's not a progression. You got to get somebody that is in that space with you. Your life, you get one shot. What you don't expose now is going to be delivered to your children. And you need to have the roadmap for them as well. You cannot heal what you don't reveal. That's a huge part of this. If you keep hiding it, you keep keeping in that dark room, hoping it just goes away. It's not going away. Here's step 3. You build a system around the exposure. This is kind of what I was talking about before. Accountability without structure is just confession. We want the accountability part. What are you going to do different? How are you going to change this week, this moment, this time? When the thoughts come, what are you going to do instead? What is the system for? What is the strategy for? Because you know it's coming. You need a rhythm, a weekly check-in, a journal practice, a specific commitment in this area, because the system is what makes Tuesday happen. When you have a system in place before it happens, then you know what to do when it does happen, because it's going to happen again. This is something that's been wired together internally for you for probably years, because Tuesday happens, then you get accountable Wednesday, then you get Thursday. Now you have a winning streak of getting through this. And then you get through a weekend. And I remember the first weekend I got through, and I just felt so much relief. There was so much doubt and question and fear when I was getting through a weekend that I finally did it. And then I put another weekend together. And then I put another weekend together. One human plus one system beats 100 Mondays alone. All right. I'll give you a couple of scriptures here, because you got to remember in the scriptures, James says this. Book of James 5:16 says, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you will be healed. Every one of you dads want healing and you want freedom. It's not just the confession. It's the accountability with the confession that gets you the healing. It doesn't say just to confess to God. It doesn't say just be in your car and share it. It says one to another. The healing is in the exposure. It's not weakness. That's the design. That's how you're built. So guys, I'll close with this. First of all, I love you. I care about you. I want your life to be set on fire in freedom. I want your children to live the greatest lives they've ever lived. It hinges on you. When you drift, you keep resetting on Monday, because Monday feels like a fresh start that requires nothing from you today. But builders expose the pattern. They find a witness and rebuild a system that doesn't depend on how they feel Sunday night. You've had enough Mondays. It's time to build a Tuesday. And so if this episode hits you, share it with one dad who's restarting every Monday for longer than he wants to admit. A couple of clicks gives him help and hope. It's worth everything. Follow on Spotify, subscribe on Apple if that's where you roll. If you're ready to stop doing this alone, to get a real witness in a system, man, jump in our school group. It's in the show notes. It's where builders stop hiding and they start building. I'll see you guys on the next one. I love you. God bless you.